Hi everyone, it's Heather. Welcome back into the Paper Castle and welcome to episode 5 of Paper Transformed. And today we're going to do 2 more techniques. This is technique 6 and 7. I'm going to do 2 more variations of the watercolor wash. I'm going to do the salt wash and the plastic wrap treatment. So, these are very, very easy and you really don't need a lot of stuff. All you need is some watercolor paper. You need watercolor paint. I'm going to be using the Peerless paints that I showed you guys in my previous video. And for those of you that haven't seen this before, if you didn't watch the other video, I'll put the link down below for that. Okay, so watercolor paper, watercolor paint. It says you need artboard or chipboard so that you can tape your watercolor to the board. I don't do that. If you want to do that, go ahead, but I just don't really feel that you need to. Then you need, of course, you need water. You need a round watercolor brush. It says size 10 or 12. This is just one of the fluffy brushes that came with my Perfect Pearls, so I'm using that. And you need some kosher salt. You can use regular salt. I think you just get a finer effect on the paper with the finer crystals of salt. And you need some plastic wrap. And that's it. So I'm going to get into this right away. And I'm just going to do a quick wash of color over this watercolor paper. Actually, let me get a piece of paper first so I don't spill salt everywhere. Okay, sorry guys. I'm a little unprepared. Okay, so get the brush good and wet. I'm going to use some of this peacock blue color. And I want it a little darker than that. There we go. And you're just going to do a quick wash of color over this. You want the paint, you want the brush good and wet so that the paint doesn't dry quickly, because you're going to put the salt over top of it. Like I said, this isn't an even wash or a graded wash. This is just paint thrown on the watercolor paper, but I kind of like the effect of that. Okay, so when you're done with that, whoops, missed a little spot right here. There we go. When you're done with that, you want to take some of your salt, and it's up to you how much you put on it. A lot or a little, it really doesn't matter. And just sprinkle it all over the paper. I'll lift this up so you guys can see. Okay, now you're going to let that sit there. And you're going to let it dry completely before you rub the salt off. And I have one that I did earlier. And I'm just going to rub the salt off now. This one's completely dry, to show you the effect that you get. And there you go. So it has that great mottled effect. Oops, didn't get all the salt off. The only thing that I would advise with this technique, because it involves salt, is, if you're scrapbooking with this, just don't use it near any of your pictures, because, I doubt this is archivally safe. So that's the first one. I'm going to move this out of the way so we can do the second one. Alright, the second technique is using the watercolor wash and plastic wrap. So I'm just gonna put a few colors on this watercolor paper really quickly. I'm gonna start with this deep blue, and I'm gonna put it on in a few different spots here, like they did in the example in the book. Just try and make sure you keep it really wet. Rinse the brush out. Switch to the next color. And I'm going to use this. This is Wisteria Violet down here. Oh, need more water. There we go. Okay. And when this is still nice and wet, you want to take your plastic wrap and you're going to lay it on the surface, but you're going to scrunch it all up. And just get as few or as many wrinkles in it as you want. The more wrinkled, the more defined the effect is going to be. So that's what that looks like now, but you have to let this sit and let the paper dry completely, which could take some time. Obviously it's not going to get a lot of air to it with this plastic wrap. So leave that sit, and I have another couple of examples to show you. This was one that I did, and I didn't let the plastic wrap, I didn't let this dry completely before I took the plastic wrap off. So you can see there's some little puddles here and there when I picked up the plastic wrap. So you don't really have the defined edges like you do in the next example that I'm going to show you. But I kind of like this effect too. And then this one I'm not sure, I did this a long time ago. I think I did this with Glimmer Mist or Lindy's Stamp Gang products. And you can see I let this dry completely, so you have very defined lines from where the plastic wrap was. And the nice thing about using something with shimmer is that the shimmer kind of puddles up in the lines and you get a really nice effect. So if you don't, want to use watercolor paint, you can use, some Lindy's Stamp Gang products. You can use Glimmer Mist. This is another product I have. This is Radiant Rain. This also has some shimmer in it. Not a whole lot though, not as much as the other two products. Or you can mix some products in with your watercolor. You can mix Perfect Pearls in with your watercolor. You don't need a whole lot. And although you really couldn't use that with the Peerless, you would have to mix your watercolors on a palette for that. And same thing with this. This is Iridescent Medium. This is a really great product. You can find this in the paint aisle at Michael's. But if you look at it, this is settled. This is all the shimmer in this. So a little tiny bit of this goes a really, really long way. So I would shake it up, just dip my brush in it quick, and then stir it into the watercolor. You really don't need a lot. So that is it for salt washes and the saran wrap technique, or plastic wrap. So thanks everyone for watching, and hopefully, barring any drama around here, I'll be back next week with next episodes. So thanks for watching everyone. Have a great day. Bye.